Sprint 4. Summary. Sue I. Sprints 1 to 3. Feedback summary. Community feedback mechanism actions. Individual review of process and one-to-one feedback sessions. GDPR and security works. GitHub training. Dev outputs. Component gallery and steppers. Sprint 4 wireframe updates. Board. Conclusions. What went well. Sprint 5 actions. Sue I. Sprints 1 to 3 feedback summary. Sprint 1. Review, comforter, font, header strapline. What would you have wished to be different? I prefer the large blue button type icons. 2 versions, one simplified to explain all the terms in plain English with some helpful illustrations. Sprints 2 and 3 show short history of why this is happening from a process basis. Tie aims into added social value outcomes. Aim should start with the third one first. The last aim should be to improve the lives of autistic people. Experience view. I like less lines similar to a bank statement. Date, what it is, where it went, maybe how many logs submitted in a month. Alteration to profile terms. Integration of a glossary of terms into video. Community feedback mechanism actions. Sent whole mechanism to Paul for review. Paul's feedback included questions in Sprint 1 are very technical and maybe beyond the scope of some or more of the community volunteers. The questions in Sprint 2 are much better. Questions then refined and added to table in GitHub. Paul C. has now agreed this mechanism is suitable for sending out to the wider community. Individual review of process and one-to-one feedback sessions. Candidates below expressed interest in undertaking one-to-one feedback sessions. Payment for participants requested and agreed with Craig H. User group to include Sue I, Sarah M, and Otis. The candidates will review sprints 1 to 3 community questions and category mapped version and undertake one-to-one session. 6 hours will be assigned to each candidate separately. GDPR security works. GDPR principles and the DPO role documentation reviewed. GDPR assessment readiness workbook underway by Paul B, security consultant at Fujitsu, who is now in contact with Katrina. GitHub training. Dev outputs. Component gallery and steppers. Navigation bar and hamburger. Secondary banner, jumbotron, aims box, stepper, user journey. Sprint 4 wireframe updates. Redline functionality added to wireframe to support dev team. Non-verbal representation of given experiences. Tube is too loud example. Function layout covered. User interface, questions, sensory, descriptive, people, buildings, transport categories. User interface provides cards. Image and sound upload. Screen reader shows how the screen reader works. Board. To do, done. Issue 200 include non-verbal means of inputting. Design created for review. 204 gather feedback on videos for each sprint. Mechanism questions for separate sprints produced. New epic-based set created to cover sprints 1 to 3 proposed. Reviewed by Paul and given the go-ahead. In development, done. Still in development, issue 74, GDPR compliance linkage between Paul Butler and eKatrina. Done. Issue 231, develop stepped user journey control completed by Paul. Issue 169, develop layout of landing page function boxes as component demo. 236, component gallery with footer. 172, 171, hamburger menu. 170, hero. Issue 163, list of questions for the community. Issue 179, clarify how people can give feedback on the sprint demo video discussed and agreed. Backlog, feedback to be brought into wireframes for sprint 5. Issue 174, add your experience page component. Issue 233, develop user profile type selection control as feedback from SUI. Issue 173, prototype, develop pared down secured engagement component, landing page pared down and aim structure around feedback from Sue. Issue 229, develop template editor. Issue 230, develop newsletter priority altered. Issue 175, decide on landing page strapline, awaiting community feedback, currently given low priority. Issue 232, develop language selector, also given low priority. Conclusions, what went well, sprint 5 actions. Coding standards set and the sharing of best practice within the development team. Propose sprint 5 actions. Design work around wireframe feedback suggestions from SUI if felt relevant. Produce a glossary on GitHub in a .md file to act as a list of go-to process terms for the community. To produce a glossary of terms on the video moving forward. Stories to be taken into the sprint as required include brain-in-hand-like features, create modular alerts for timeout, save feature, multiple experience formats, short detail submission, add geotag features to image upload, and sanctuaries, location and categories. Development team demonstrating good channels of communication and positive responses. Further prioritization of user stories, security awareness engagement and input in place.